Canadians are united. Who says we don't have nationalism? Who says Canadians are a post-nationalist state? Who says Canadians don't care about being Canadian? And who says Canadians don't want an election? Well, apparently a new Ipsos poll has come out saying that 77% of Canadians want an election now. Fresh mandate, fresh government, fresh point of view to go in, talk to Trump and his government and figure out what is happening with these tariffs and come to an agreement, come to a deal that benefits both countries. Imagine that. Maybe common sense is prevailing across this beautiful country of ours. Oh, some places here are cold and some places it's negative 30. In others, it's negative 2. But we can all come together saying we want an election now. Very fascinating. The origin of this study was that, yes, tariffs are a stressful part and people are feeling it. People are understanding it. I couldn't really believe it. I was really excited. Reg and I dropped that video on Trump's pausing of the tariffs for the next 2 weeks, and immediately it just popped off. The fastest it's ever, any of our videos has popped off. I definitely underestimated how much Canadians care about this tariff conversation. And in some ways, it's really encouraging to me. It shows that Canadians are engaged, Canadians want to know what's going on, and Canadians see the drawback and pain that a tariff war could cause for us. So seeing this Ipsos poll was very interesting to me. The one thing we agree on, though, is that we want an election now, having a government that has a fresh mandate. That's what we want to see. But at least the respondents of this poll start getting divided in how to address the tariff threat, which seems to be the issue our current political class is having at the moment. The one thing that is encouraging, 71% of respondents acknowledge that a tariff war could have a personal impact on their lives, which is really good to see. While 29% disagree that it's going to they think it'll have a minimal impact on their lives, which those people are sorely mistaken. And this is where the disagreement comes in. Is 82% of Canadians believe in retaliatory tariffs. 82% believe in retaliatory tariffs, but only 55% agree that oil and gas should be in part of those retaliatory tariffs. So there's that divide. It's getting closer to 50-50 if we should include oil and gas, which kind of shows that Canada's slowly getting split down the middle on a specific issue. So that is the interesting piece of it, right? The divide is really coming down to, we acknowledge that tariffs are an issue. We acknowledge that we want a fresh mandate from a government to deal with it. And the divide is, if we were to do retaliatory tariffs, then what do we include? Do we include oil and gas? Do we not? Those are the questions. Those are the issues that we were having and why there's been so much tension at the political level amongst all of our representatives. Because admittedly, from people who are informed, less informed, all are kind of being divided on this. And you know the stance of this show, you know my stance on this. Retaliatory tariffs are not the way to go. There is a deal to be had. If we are forced and our hand is absolutely forced, I think that is like the last thing that we should be using. Last thing. And I agree with Danielle Smith's approach on this is like, let's not even talk about that unless it gets sorely bad. But there's so many more options we can exercise before we get there. So stop talking about it, stop blowing hot air about it, and let's find a solution. And that's where I think we need to be at the moment. I think that's where Trump wants to be on this as well. So that's the issue, is I don't like the idea of, it's human nature, I get it. You hit me, I'm gonna hit you back. That's typical human nature, which I find hilarious, by the way, that the liberal government is talking about, well, if they're going to hit us, we need to hit them twice as hard. Jagmeet Singh, if they're going to hit us, we need to hit them twice as hard. Meanwhile, you've taken away the ability of Canadians to fight back and have self-defense in this country. But hey, alas, hilarious, isn't it? And a couple interesting stats to finish this off. 60% say they're confident in Canada's ability to effectively respond. 77% believe we need a federal election immediately, which we addressed, and 59% believe Justin Trudeau should be leading the response against Trump and not Canada's provincial premiers. And that's, a little bit of a divide. I think Trudeau's been a child on this, so I admit the premiers need to be standing up for themselves, and so someone needs to stand in the gap of what's been going on with these tariffs, since Trudeau is just the interim prime minister right now and has no real commitment in the long going. But it comes back to this. 77% of Canadians want an election now, which shows you the Liberals have lost their mandate, they have lost support, they have lost confidence, and Canadians want House to be cleaned out, start fresh, and they want the option to have their say on that, which says a lot. Especially as we go into this February 13th, 14th hearing about the challenge to Trudeau's proroguement. I think stuff like this, it shouldn't have an impact, but it will have an impact. In the law world, it shouldn't have an impact, but humans are human. This type of pressure is really important to be able to sway the officials' perspective on it. I'll be honest with you. Judges are human. That's how I roll. I've coached competitive Sports, I've played competitive sports. That's my message to all my teams. Refs are human. They have to uphold the rules, but depending how you treat them, depending how they feel towards you, is going to dictate how they apply those rules to you. I hate it. That's the reality. I wish it could just be up and down, fair and square, but that's not where we are at the moment. So when it comes to this type of stuff, when we're seeing this hearing that's going to be upcoming, to hear the argument that we should be ending program immediately and going to the House of Commons and hopefully having a vote of non-confidence so we can get an election, Canadians have made it loud and clear that's what they want. And I hope the judge hears that as well and they're swayed. And the majority of Canadians want this because they see, and as I said here, the majority of Canadians see how tariffs will have a negative impact on their lives, making situations like this far worse. Kingston, Ontario declares emergency as roughly 1 in 3 households struggle with food insecurity. Kingston's feeling the pinch, and Kingston's not alone, with other communities across the country who are feeling the pressures and struggles of food insecurity. People can't afford food. People can't afford healthy food. People can't afford food that will allow them to flourish in life and be healthy. They can't do it. 1 in 3 households are struggling with this right now. And it was interesting that the councillor Brandon Tozzo and Deputy Mayor Gregory Ridge put out a statement urging the Ontario government to increase social assistance rates to meet basic living needs, boost funding for existing school food programs, and work toward establishing a universal school food initiative, and collaborate with the federal government to implement a guaranteed livable basic income addressing the root causes of food insecurity. More social programs to aid the issues, to solve the issues of more bloated social programs have cost. I was under the impression from Jagmeet Singh, from Justin Trudeau, that their school lunch program was supposed to fix point 2 of this, funding school food programs. I thought that was supposed to fix this. I thought the provinces didn't know what they were doing. I thought they were out to lunch on it. I thought the federal government was supposed to fix all of this, yet it's still in need. Color me shocked. Wow, another promise underdelivered and doesn't exist with this federal government. Another wild point that this food bank brought up was that local organizations have reported significant increases in demand for their services. Dan Irwin, executive director of Partners in Mission Food Bank, noted that 2024 marked the 4th consecutive year of record usage, with 1 in 17 residents relying on their services, up from 1 in 19 the previous year. It's getting worse year over year over year. Over the past 4 years, food bank usage has gone up in this area. And again, this is just a microcosm, small snapshot of one community that several hundreds and thousands of communities across our country are currently feeling. Thus goes back to the point. Canadians see that there's an issue. Canadians see that there's a problem, and they want an election now for it to be dealt with on a fresh mandate. When I see stuff like this, it's heartbreaking. It guts me. I hate seeing it. But as I pointed out here, the part that is the most concerning to me in the statement that was put out by the city was that they need more social assistance. They need more funding for school programs. And they want to implement a guaranteed basic livable income in their communities to address these issues. That should concern you too. We are being taxed into poverty. When things get so bad, people are hurting so much. Oh, the solution is UBI. Solution is guaranteed basic income. The solution is throw more money at it, because the money that's been given hasn't worked up to this point. My heart goes out to these people, but these are not the solutions. The solution is improving our economy, improving how we export resources, improving trade between provinces, improving trade with other countries. More bloating of social programs is not helpful. We actually need to cut down a lot of these programs and make sure the ones that we do use and that need to be used are done effectively with the money that we have. There is so much been added. And what I mean by added was provinces provide school lunch programs. Why does there need to be a federal program over that? Wasted. Get rid of it. Provinces have a pharma care program for low-income people. Why do we need a federal program over that? Get rid of it. Not needed. Provinces have a dental program for low-income individuals. Why do we need a federal program over that? Get rid of it. Not needed. This is the stuff I'm talking about. Let's actually take a serious look. And believe me, our team at Elevate have been doing work going through all the expenses of this government over the past year. And we'll be doing a special episode fairly soon to unveil everything our money is going to right now and all the things that could be cut. Our early findings have discovered that we could keep the pharmacare. We could keep the dental care. We could keep the school lunch programs on the federal level and save billions by cutting so much else. It's ridiculous how much money is being wasted by this federal government. And we look forward to sharing that with you. But I digress. We're seeing our communities in pain right now. And a tariff war would make this tremendously worse. Yet Trudeau has hinted at the idea of if there is a tariff war, he will make it tremendously worse. Justin Trudeau says he supports the principle of a dollar-for-dollar matching tariffs against the U.S. if they put tariffs on Canada, but recognizes that will cost Canadians. He added the feds would be there to support and compensate businesses that are impacted. Promising pandemic 2.0 is what he's saying here. We'll just print more money and subsidize the businesses that struggle in a tariff war. It's not what we need. That will literally kill us if he does that. We're already reeling as it is. That would be the nail in the coffin. It feels like this man is bent on the job of putting this country into the ground. And if he doesn't finish it, a Mark Carney will definitely will. It was interesting to me, as I'm sure it was to you, Carney in his speech, his opening rally, saying that he wants to bring the Liberals back to the center economically. Yet today, Stephen Guilbeault endorsed Mark Carney for leadership of the party. He wants to bring the party back to the center, yet he accepts the endorsements of one of the most radical MPs in the Liberal Party. Would you say they align on fiscal policy? Carney has said vocally he supported the decisions of this Liberal Party, but he wants to bring them back to the center. Yeah, okay. Don't make me choke on the lies. And I know this video is floating around yesterday. You've probably seen it already, but I will share it again to prove the point that Mark Carney, it doesn't matter who they fill in. This Liberal Party is beyond repair at the moment. No matter who they put as the new face, you're going to get the same results because they all support the same policies, even though they're trying to shift and change. No, they're all the same. They all support the same policies, and they'll make sure to finish the job if they get in. And that is also the worrying part, is whoever wins the Liberal leadership race will be the PM for a certain amount of time, which is also terrifying. But I'll leave it at that. But as I said, this video has been floating around. Liz Truss being interviewed by Kian Bext of the Counter Signal, and her clarifying her view on Mark Carney and the warning she gives to Canadians.
Wanting to get your thoughts on Mark Carney and your relationship with him while you were Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, and any advice you have to Canadians who think he might make a good Prime Minister.
Well, Mark Carney was Governor of the Bank of England, and under his tenure, too much money was printed, which did damage to the British economy and put our economy off track. He, at the last election, endorsed Rachel Reeves' economic policy. She's now become Chancellor. It's been a disaster for Britain. The country is heading for bankruptcy. So I would strongly recommend not backing Mark Carney or his policies on net zero, which have been disastrous for Britain and would be disastrous for Canada.
Do you trust his judgment overall, outside of ideological considerations?
Well, I believe that he made major mistakes in the management of the Bank of England. He has pushed net zero, which has been a disaster, not just for the UK, but for many countries across the world.
Thanks for your time, Prime Minister. I appreciate it.
He continues to push net zero, which has been disastrous across the world, and we've seen it. They've pushed it here, they've pushed it in the UK, pushed in Australia, pushed in the US too, to a degree. It's been harmful, and you're going to get more of the same with old Carney. That's your reminder. That is the warning, and I know many who watch the show already know this, but it's just good to continue to arm yourself with information so as to inform your friends that this guy is not who they claim to be. And if these tariffs move on, if we have a dark winter upcoming, what I'll say to you is this: how do you prepare? Well, first off, save where you can, limit your credit borrowing if you can. Food is on sale at the grocery store. Buy extras in terms of non-perishables and put it in your pantry. Take care of yourself. Make sure yourself is taken care of. Because if things get bad, you want to be able to be in a strong spot to be able to support those around you. But if you're in a weak spot, you're not going to help anybody out around you either. So those are the things you really should focus on. Because at the end of the day, for me, I'll still be here every day, twice a day, pushing on the system, pushing on what's going on, highlighting the issues that are happening so that we can make sure we get this corrupt government out of power, get Canada back on the right track, and making sure that we ultimately flourish as a nation. Can't leave you on that note. Enjoy this video. It's a fun one. For those who are a little bit older, it's just a nice commentary on emo music that enveloped the predominantly white youth back in the early 2000s. Have yourselves a good one. I'm out.
What's your adjectives?
Huh? Adjectives? Pronouns is where
Oh, what's your pronouns?
He, him. Yep. That's it.
He, him.
Yep.
100%.
100%.
All right, let's hear something, man.
Spin the bottle like spider spins a web. You are a poison apple. Every person wants a dad.
How do you get the voice to do that? I thought that was just a white thing. I didn't know black people had it. That was
It's in there. I told you, bro.
Yeah.
It came from us. Never have I broke somebody's. Bro,
broke somebody.
Yeah. The O's like an A. So broke somebody's Yep. Clear.
Body and death or dead.
Yeah.
Dead.
Yes, there it is.
It's not just dead, it's dead.
Exactly.
You just can't get that note without studying white people.
Have a good one, y'all. Peace out.